To get started today, welcome to our session on writing better prompts. Uh, we'll be exploring how to effectively communicate with AI through well-crafted prompts. Why is that important? Because a prompt acts as a bridge between us and AI. It guides the AI to provide relevant responses. First off, my name is Ryan Rufener, and with me is Mike Wilday, my manager. We've each been with LAPU for over 10 years, and Mike actually even longer, what, 13 years, I think.
Yep, that's
And
about right.
yeah, and we're excited to share with you some of what we've learned through our AI implementation with Nectar and then other uses of AI over the last several years. In this session, we're going to uncover how clear and effective communication can significantly enhance our interaction with AI. So let's get ready to dive in to understanding prompts and their impactful role in our digital conversation. So first off, uh, let's dive into our first topic. What is a prompt? A prompt is essentially the bridge that connects us to AI. It's how we communicate our needs and get the most relevant responses. Crafting a well thought out prompt is crucial. When we communicate clearly, we enable the AI to understand our intentions, which leads to optimal results. Think of it like asking a friend for help. The clearer you are about what you need, the better their responses will be. As we explore this topic, consider how you currently interact with AI. Are your prompts effective? This understanding sets the stage for the impact of the prompts, which we're going to discuss next. All right, so let's dive into the impact of prompts. First, let's talk about small changes. It's fascinating how a simple tweak in your prompt can lead to significantly different outcomes. Think about it. Just like in a conversation, the slightest adjustment can change the flow and the depth of interaction. Next, we have tone shift. So adjusting the tone of your prompts can greatly enhance the engagement. For instance, a friendly conversational tone might yield more enthusiastic responses. Compared to a formal one, it's more about connecting with the AI just as you would with a person. Lastly, let's focus on clear direction. Being specific in your prompts is essential. It ensures that the AI understands your needs accurately, allowing for more relevant and useful responses. Now, let's keep these ideas in mind as we move forward to the next discussion on effective prompts and some best practices. For this part, I'm going to have Mike do some comparison on these two prompts.
Yeah, when we first started our Nectar integration in all of our courses, we came up with a standard prompt that was based on something that Microsoft had developed and shared out on GitHub via their EDU platform for creating a tutor. And we wanted a tutor who could come in and help our students and get very specific help regarding our course topics. And so we trained our Nectar with this basic original prompt, which basically said you're an upbeat, encouraging tutor, gave it a little context around the course, and then just kind of said, here's how we want you to engage with the student, and then trained it on specifically the course content. And we found that it was very successful. It was, however, very verbose, almost to the point where in our pilot, and through the first couple terms of integration, professors were like, we're seeing a lot of copying and pasting rather than crafting of ideas, and the AI is becoming more of a resource for just getting information than for actual learning. And so we went through and began a process where we engaged with a AI to say, hey, how can we make this prompt work better? And we got several feedback from AI itself on how we could structure and organize our prompt to make sure it's following all of the guidelines that we had set. And it did okay in the original prompt, but when we started adding structure, you can see there we have hashtags, which represent like headers in HTML language or like in a document. So they provide for the AI assistant actual clarity in what it's to do and steps it's to take and a hierarchy of order of how it's to behave. And then we also got several where we began to get specific about, okay, now we're not just going to say, start by doing this, but this is how you approach the learner. And then we step one, two, three, and four, and it goes through those processes. And we found that when we structured our prompt and were very clear and specific and even reinforced its behavior later on in the process, we got much clearer and simpler responses from the AI, and it was more in line with our intentions around how it was to engage with the student. And so simple things like structure, adding header tags, highlighting really important things with those double stars is like bolding an item. And so that this helped us to accomplish our goals. And as we iterated on the prompt, it became really clear for our students and worked really well at engaging them in the way that we needed it to.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Now let's dive
Yeah.
into how we can create effective prompts. First, consider engagement. Good prompts can lead to meaningful interactions. When we frame our questions thoughtfully, we invite deeper discussions that enrich our understanding. Next, let's talk about relevance. Relevant questions are key to yielding valuable insights. They guide the conversation and enhance our learning experiences, ensuring that we get the most out of our interactions with AI. Finally, we have creativity. Creative prompts inspire innovative solutions and fresh ideas from participants. When we encourage creativity, we open up a world of possibilities. So remember, engagement, relevance, and creativity are our pillars for crafting effective prompts. And let's keep these in mind as we move forward. All right.
I'm
So,
gonna
Mike, you want to compare this one?
Yeah, I was gonna say, we did some fun testing, and I had come across an idea that somebody had online about creating one assistant that really functions as a variety of specialized assistants to help a user solve a problem. And so that was our goal. It should be able to work with quote unquote AI consultants from several different fields to make sure that whatever it is I ask it to do, I'll get a higher caliber response. So we're talking about, specificity and clarity. We're talking about having relevance and creativity and making sure it's engaging. Well, we threw in this prompt just for fun from this process and just basically said we want you to act like an AI to do things. Didn't tell it what. Use multiple AIs to do things. That not very clear, not very concise. Maybe ask the user questions and just make it work. Really simple, really finite prompt. Threw it in there, and we got some feedback from that, and we're going to show that in our demo in just a minute. After we go over some of our final points. But the revised prompt is much more clear, and you can see that obviously. You're going to act as the AI overseer and orchestrator of expert agents in a virtual AI realm. Your primary function is to support the user by aligning with their goals and preferences and by coordinating a team of specialized expert agents for comprehensive assistance. So it begins by asking me questions. So like I'll say, hey, I need help with this thing. Help me create a business plan. Help me, do this thing. And I have a test we'll show you in just a moment. But then it began the first one gave me a business plan, but it had no context. It didn't gather any information from me. It just said, okay, I'll do it. And it did it. And it was okay. It had some very basic, AI things in it. But as we got specific and asked it to gather context, to ask us for relevant information, I was able to get a more contextualized response that was far clearer and more pertinent to the situation that I gave it, as you'll see in just a minute. So there's really an unlimited way that you can use AI to do all sorts of things. And this was a fun experiment that we did, but it has incredible practical use in the workplace and in, really in any practical application you give it toward. But your ability to be specific, to be creative in how it responds, to make sure it's it's asking relevant questions as well as getting relevant training to begin with can really change your results. And I'll show you that in just a minute.
Thank you, Mike. And as we move
Yeah.
on to our next topic, let's focus on best practices for developing effective prompts. Firstly, it's crucial to remember that being specific is key. When we craft precise prompts, we significantly enhance clarity, leading to improved quality in AI outputs. This approach not only helps the AI understand our needs, but but also fosters a more productive interaction. Think of it as setting a clear path for a journey. The more detailed the directions, the smoother the ride. So the quality of engagement of specific prompts will drastically improve the user experience. Clarity might address the following factors: its role, its tone, what it can do, and what it can and can't do for the user, reinforce behaviors, the length of its response, and how it gathers its data, steps it should complete, and barriers the agent should operate within. All right. And we do have a demo. I did want we're really short on time. So I just want to show real quickly, just because I have it up already, the bad response. I asked it to just do a SWOT analysis of a business plan for a pizza delivery by drone service. Now, the bad prompt that we showed you just dumped all this information on me. And I would be overwhelmed by that just by seeing that, right? So it wasn't a good response. It didn't even help develop what I wanted to do. But I took the second prompt, the better prompt that Mike showed talked about. Now I use the same question, but you see how it went straight into developing questions to help develop my thinking and how I wanted to work through this. Mike, any want to add any more details to that?
Yeah, no, and I'm basically the example that I was going to show is very similar. I said, help me create a business plan for a kid's Cub Scout popcorn selling, right? And then it just kind of dumped out this huge plan. It didn't really relate to where I was in my place. And then the next one asked me, and I said, oh, by the way, I live in a remote online jungle in the south of the Americas, and I want to sell X number of popcorn because it gave me these similar goals like this. And then it was able to craft a more consistent, and it actually first it went to different experts, and then the experts went out and shared with me like these are the ideas we have, and is there anything else you might think? And then it just kind of allowed me to keep building off of that original prompt. It was pretty incredible the specificity by which it engaged me and gave me a more consistent response that would relate to actually my specific situation. So.
Yeah, great. All right. So we're coming near the end of our time here, and we have the queue. Well, we don't have much time for questions, but we do have a bit.ly link that we can share here. And we have this cheat sheet. We can also share it with some other resources. And if you would like more information on some of the structuring, on how we craft some of our prompts, we have this cheat sheet that we can share with you. And then you can also scan that QR code and get access to it. All right. And I think that we are here at the end of our time. And Mike just posted that link in the chat. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, that link also on the bottom of that cheat sheet has a contact information if you want to get in contact with us. So, perfect. Thank you for joining us.